No, it's still going.
There it is.
We're live. We were waiting longer than usual, just for those of you who are wondering why we're late. Like, yay. Okay. No, it says an error occurred. Wait a moment, then try again. So are we live or are we not live?
That's a good question. It's showing up on my
Live.
Instagram. I think we're good. God love technology.
You know what's happening? It's LinkedIn, they're saying, is not going live. And now I am live on LinkedIn as well. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Whether you're watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or inside of my group, the Interior Design Business Forum, or on Lesley's Instagram or my Instagram, welcome. Okay, it's Thursday, so today is our Profitable Interior Designer broadcast with my associate coach, Lesley Myrick, and also a working luxury interior designer. Okay, so you guys know me. I'm Nancy Ganzikofer, business coach and body language trainer. And before we talk about this topic for interior designers, how do you have work-life balance and make money as an interior designer? I just want to mention that our next group starting on September 17th, applications to join the Profit Insider Academy next group is closing tonight at midnight. If you're interested, the group is filling up. I think we're at 7, 8, or 9 at this point, and we have more application review calls on my calendar. So please go to my website and fill out an application. Or if you're just like, I can't fill out an application, I just want to talk to Nancy, just email info@nancyganzikofer.com with your name, phone number, and your website, and I will hop on the phone with you. I will give you a call when I have a chance between my appointments to talk about your business and whether you would qualify for the Profit Insider Academy. It's a 1-year group coaching program for interior designers to get them making the money that they deserve and getting the life that they want. So today, we talk a lot about this in the Academy, Lesley. It's a big thing, this work-life balance and making money as an interior designer. Why don't you start us off as one of the most important things a designer can do in order to get to where they're trying to go?
Well, I mean, this is one of those elusive topics where people say work-life balance is a myth. And I see there is some truth in that. It's never going to be equal, but
Correct.
that doesn't mean it can't feel balanced and manageable. But really, the number one thing when it comes to creating that balance is boundaries. You need to have business hours and honor them. You are not going to work a Saturday appointment if you don't take Saturday appointments. You need to have boundaries around your pricing, your packages, your services, what you will do and what you will not do for clients. Yes. You are not the everything to everybody. And I always compare it to another professional. Like if you were calling your dentist, you wouldn't say, oh, but I don't want to pay $400 for my filling. Can you do it for $2? Or I'm really busy. Can you meet me Sunday afternoon? Like they don't do that. Right. And neither should you. I really do think boundaries are the number one way you're actually going to feel like you have some sort of balance between work and life, because while they are often very intertwined, there has to be a separation at some point that gives you that life back. So work isn't everything.
Yeah, because think about it. We could work 7 days a week, 12 hours, 14 hours a day and never stop. I mean, it's running your own business. There's always something to do. Yeah. I'm never bored. Like if I have nothing to do, I just jump into my business work, on my marketing work, on my banking work. There's always something to work on. But boundaries go across so many categories, right? Yeah. A client that says, well, I text, that's the way I communicate best. Can you do that? And you're tempted to say yes because you want the job, but you've decided that texting ruins your life and your children's lives and your husband's lives or your wife's lives. So you don't do it. But yet that client said, I'd rather text. And you say, okay, that's crossing a boundary. That's going to start that relationship off wrong and end up somewhere midstream, giving me or you a call and saying, this client's out of control. They keep pushing my boundaries. Every time I say this, they say that. So they want more revisions. They want to text you all the time. They want to shop for themselves and go price shopping, right? They want to hire their own contractors. They want you to work on the weekends and nights because, they work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So I remember, and I tell this story in the Profit Insider Academy groups, that when I decided as an art consultant that we were no longer going to take weekend clients, Saturday or Sunday, my staff got really nervous. And one of them still works for me, Sally, the client services manager. She worked for me in my home when I was an art consultant, art framing and accessories for 17 years. And when I made that decision, we really did get scared, but I had to. I had 3 kids. I had a husband. I had to like have work-life balance. And we only lost 1 client over the next 6 years. And that client ended up being a nightmare for the interior designer. So it was a good miss. And when they insisted, well, we cannot take off, you cannot come early, you cannot come late. I offered other things like you guys do. But when I tell you what a difference it made in my life, and that is something we try to teach the designers, not to work 12-hour days, not to be letting the client push boundaries all the time. Set your life and your business up the way you want it to be and make the money you want to make. You can do that.
You can. And it can be a scary transition if you have been people pleasing for so long and allowing it. But I promise you, your clients will respect you more for having boundaries, not less. I mean, truly, real professionals have boundaries. You wouldn't ask your dentist to text them about your medical care.
Right.
So if your dentist said yes, you'd be like, I don't really, I can just text you.
Right. You don't ask your dentist to come on Sunday at 4 o'clock because that's the only time slot you have available.
And I'm finding that too, is that my clients are professionals. They are doctors. They are attorneys. They are in worlds of professions where they have strong boundaries around their time and their energy and their accessibility.
Yes.
And that's why they are successful professionals. And that's something that we can look at for ourselves. And again, like we try to people please. Our job is to help people. We want to do that. But stronger boundaries mean more respect and more freedom with your time, where you actually feel like I have a life again, instead of everything I'm doing is for this business and I'm feeling drained and resentful.
Yes. And like, I get it. Like there are years where it's a push year and you're working more hours. And then there's the maintenance years where it's kind of clean up and settle and resolve. And then there's another push year. So you definitely might work more hours. But we're just saying set boundaries around your clients specifically, because they're the ones that could keep sucking the life out of you in every day of the week at every time. Don't let it happen. Set your business model the way you want your life. And that goes right into then having work-life balance and making the money that you need. It's all about your pricing, which is why we talk about pricing and service models and your ladder of services and what you actually offer for how much money first in our academy, right? Yes. You've got to have your prices right and profitable from the beginning. Otherwise, every time you say yes to a client, you're just getting yourself deeper and deeper in the hole because you're not charging properly, right? So I had someone who's interested in the academy, and they were messaging me through Instagram, and they basically said, like, I can't now. I'm too busy. And I'm like, okay, but don't wait too long, because if you don't adjust your pricing and your boundaries now while you're busy, you're just going to keep getting more people, selling them at the same price point with the lack of boundaries, and you're never going to get out of this hole. At some point, you've got to stop, put a stick in the spoke of your bicycle and go, I'm going to stop the train. From this point forward, I'm going to make adjustments, and that is what will eventually get me out of this constant work. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Because if you keep doing what you're always doing, you're going to be burnt out and stressed. And I understand the pressure to keep working more and loosen those boundaries when you need the money, when you're not bringing in what you're expecting to. But truthfully, if that's your situation, you are most likely underpriced. Yes. And you are serving too many people for too little money. We teach in the academy, fewer clients, more money. And that is possible. You don't want to be the Walmart of interior designers and be the bottom dollar price and be for everybody, because that is a ticket to complete burnout and no boundaries and no balance. So I love this, Nancy. Put a line in the sand. Next client that comes in the door, my rate goes up by X.
Right. And I'm selling the right service model for what they need, with a great contract that protects you with boundaries. And then, of course, having exemplary procedures to keep that client happy, right? So How do you make money as an interior designer? Price yourself right, have the proper service models for your clientele or the clientele you're trying to attract, and then make sure you have process and procedures that supports it, because referrals are a huge way that interior designers get business. So if your process and procedures seem haphazard to your client, if you seem flustered, if you seem unsure or lack confidence, or it takes you too long to figure something out, sometimes that'll read to the client as, I don't think everything's going as well as I would have liked with this designer.
Yes.
And they may not refer you, which is why you need to have great process and procedures in place as well. We know this is a lot. This is why our program is a year. It's a lot to learn and to get right. And even to implement. I mean, even after the year, there's still more that people can implement, because it's your business is a living and breathing thing, and life is changing and technology changes, and we need to keep up with like all the new latest and greatest in the industry. So it's a lot, but it's doable.
It is. And I wanted to add a bonus point that I thought of. We were talking about exemplary procedures and processes. One thing that I found in my business that has been very helpful is in holding boundaries is having more proactive communication. So something we teach in the academy is to send a weekly client update email. Here's what happened this week. Here's what's coming next week. If you're in an hourly phase, here are your hours. Have a great week. And I'm telling you, this little proactive change really helped with boundaries, because clients knew the email was coming every week, and they were being told the information up front. They weren't not hearing from me for 3 weeks and going, hey, so we haven't heard from you. What's happening with that sofa? I can understand why people sometimes text or reach out, because they're feeling unsure that you're the right person to take them through this experience. And if you can be proactive, that helps you hold those boundaries. That is an exemplary procedure, because not everyone is doing that. And it really does set you apart and hold you to a different standard and allows you to have those boundaries. Clients know you're going to be emailing them every Friday. They don't have to bother you with questions after hours. You can shut off your phone, which we know we don't do that. You can put your phone down at 5 o'clock and know that it's going to be okay, and not be worried that a client's texting with questions or concerns and you're going to get woken up at 1 a.m. with an anxious text. The service and your process is part, like this, it's all tied in. That's why it's a year. Every part of the Profit Insiders Academy leads you to this work-life balance. But I wanted to share that because that was one of the biggest things I started doing to regain that balance, was to take that initiative and be more proactive with clients. And that allowed me to have stronger boundaries because they felt safe. They knew that I was going to be communicating with them. They didn't feel like they had to have weekend appointments or after hours texts or things that,
or just say, hey, what's going on? Because think about it. So it's 6 weeks, it's 3 months between certain stages sometimes.
Yeah.
And that is a long time for someone to pay you $10,000 and then not hear from you for 3 months. Like, no, get a weekly or every other week standard email. And I know I can hear people like rolling their eyes, like I can handle one more thing. But if you're replacing what you're handling, 2 hours of texts and emergency phone calls from the client who doesn't understand what's going on, or 15 minutes a week to send them an update, or 10 minutes, 5 minutes. If you get really good at it and your process and procedures are really tight, it'll take you 10 minutes. You have an assistant, they can do it for you.
That's what I was going to suggest.
Yeah. So you're trading up your time.
Yes.
3 hours of, I'll just say it like this. 2 hours of a client being upset with you, trying to reach out with you, trying to get with you because you're not communicating with them, and then having to deal with an upset client, talk them off the ledge, make them understand that this is the quiet time where you're doing your work and they're not going to hear from you, or send them a weekly email saying, you're still my client and here's the status of your job.
All good. Everything's on track. Aiming for an October delivery date. We'll be in touch next week. That's it.
And it makes a big difference. So, okay. So like I said in the beginning, I will say it again at the end, midnight tonight, our Profit Insider Academy applications for our group starting September 19th, it will be closing. So if you want to be considered for the Academy, you're struggling with your work-life balance, making money as a designer, not where you want your business to be, reach out to me. Now, we are saying if you don't want to fill out the application at this point, just send me an email, info@nancyganzacoffer.com with your name, website, if you have one, and phone number. and my assistant will get that to me, and I will give you a call when I have a chance in between my appointments. Okay, if you're interested in the Profit Insider Academy 1-year group coaching program for interior designers. All right, anything that I missed, Lesley?
No, I just think if this is something you're struggling with, please know that you can actually find what balance looks like for you. You can find boundaries between work and personal. And if you're so deep into it that it feels impossible, I want you to hear this, because things can change. It is in your control. And often having the right coach, the right community surrounding you, is what you need to feel empowered and get the confidence to actually make those decisions, to raise your rates, to hold firmer boundaries, and to feel like you can breathe again. I know what it's like to feel totally underwater and reactive in your business. And I think the biggest change, I mean, besides financials and all that stuff that we see, I mean, there were amazing transformations with those designers, is that there's just so much more peace and breathing room in their lives. They're running great businesses. They're making great money. They're happy. And it's kind of like, wait, what? Like, there's no fires to put out.
Well, I was going to say, it's like an adjustment where they're like, I don't feel busy enough, but yet I'm making more money than ever. So like, how is that possible? It is possible.
It is possible. And this is the place to do it.
Yes, this is the place to do it. So, all right, guys, reach out to us if you have any questions about the Profit Insider Academy. My goal is really to make sure all interior designers are making the money that they want to make, that they deserve to make. They're attracting their ideal client as regularly as possible and feel good about it with the work-life balance that we're all trying to achieve. So we will talk to you next Thursday. Thanks, Lesley.
Thanks, Nancy. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.